Hello, readers. Welcome to 20 Questions with Your Favorite Author, where we ask authors important questions like, why would you agree to be on this podcast? I'm Kelly Link Holden, Editorial Director at Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing. Our guest this week is Diane Lindmark, creator of the Stone Universe and Western Romances. Diane has always longed to be a writer, but being severely dyslexic, she thought this an impossible feat. In 2010, she married a wonderful man who encouraged her to pursue her dream. If she's not your favorite now, she will be after. Welcome, Diane. How are you feeling this evening?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Not too bad, except for some reason I can't see any purr words. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Do you have any words that you just can't pronounce, like they just don't like you?
Lots.
And
they change regularly. Some words some days they just won't come out.
Like I have no idea that word. I can't find it. And we write for a living.
It's here. Real. It just won't come out.
So we have some 20 fun questions for you today. And of course, I will take questions out of the audience as well. So audience, as always, just type them in there and I will make sure that Diane sees them. So first, where do you get your ideas?
A lot of strange places. Most of the time, my ideas begin with me posing a question to myself, and then I spend the entire rest of the book answering it.
That's awesome. You're your own interrogator. And then see, I looked and you have how many books published now? There are a ton up there.
24.
24. Excellent. So you're so prolific and cover so many different genres. What's your secret?
I don't think I have one other than I just write whatever comes into my crazy head. I guess a lot of it has to do with the fact that when I was a kid growing up, my mom would read us whatever she was reading. Even as a small child, we read adult books because my mom would just read them. And so I have lots of crazy ideas in my head. I can't answer it any better than that.
No, that's great. It's like it's in my head. It shall now be on paper. Works for me. Hey, Og is impressed that you didn't give up being severely dyslexic and actually decided to write. So good for you.
Thank you. It's a struggle, and it was really hard for me because I used to be very embarrassed about it. Now I've reached the point where I'm like, so what? You can read better than I can. I've written 56 books. So,
but 24 are published. That's pretty impressive. That's awesome.
We learn we all have strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. It's about not letting them stop you. I love it. Let's see. So for your works themselves, like your Stone Universe, starting with a solitary stone, begins with war. Usually
Correct.
Fantasy series like lead up to the war. So why did you decide to dive right in?
I don't know. I guess back to that. I start with asking myself a question or creating a problem, and then I solve the problem. And for this particular one, I decided to start with two countries that had been at war for generations, and how was I going to stop it?
Nice.
And
but it's
to
a
me,
series.
the most logical thing. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Man. Yeah, we talked a little bit before, right? And you said that you don't do outlines. I see that. You're just like, nope, I'm in it, man. This is true pantsing right here. I'm impressed. Or discovery
I like
writing.
to fly by the seat of my pants.
Nice.
Though
nice.
I should say I do sometimes write down bullet points of things I want to happen, but I don't consider that an outline. It's don't forget you need to do this, you need to do that.
Yeah.
But there are things that I think of, and then I decide where I want to put them in.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, I see. When I was looking through your stuff, I saw that your novel Legacy features a sentient machine programmed to be a super soldier. So it's like sci-fi and stuff.
He is human. He's more of a cyborg.
Okay. Because I also saw it was the same as part of the Stone Universe.
It is.
What am I missing here?
I decided to take my medieval fantasy from medieval fantasy to space science fiction. Why? Because I could. I decided I was going to do this, and I was going to see if my editors figured out what I was doing before I told them what I was doing. And I totally blindsided both of them. They never saw it coming. So it was fun for me. Nice. I like to do that to my editors. I like to see how many times I can blindside them per book.
I'm sure they greatly appreciate it. All of my writers, no. Question. Og wants to know that, or Og says that he's a sci-fi nerd. He's wondering what recommendation would you make? Like, which book should he start on?
I would say probably A Solitary Stone if he likes sci-fi, or if he wanted to try a one-off. A lot of people who like sci-fi also like my alternate history, which is One Man's Wife. And I do have a very, very dark post-apocalyptic Scotland. That would be Second Age of Darkness.
Nice. We have some questions about that one too. So in Second Age of Darkness, you have the two warring civilizations in Scotland. So obviously war's on your mind a lot. This comes up a lot. So why did you choose Scotland though? Like, of all the countries or anything you could make up, what is it about Scotland that attracted you?
It's one of my bucket list items to go to Scotland. I just love the countryside. It's so beautiful. And it's one of those, I have severe damage to my ears. So I'm probably not allowed to fly anymore. The last time I flew, I lost all hearing in one ear for 4 days. And the doctor told me that me flying was probably a really bad idea. So I'm probably never going to get to leave the United States unless I can travel by boat. So
this is a retirement plan. I mean, think of how many books you could write on the boat on the way to Scotland. This could totally work.
Good point.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. I think we should do a whole writer's retreat just on our way to Scotland. That could be so much fun. We'll just wait till kids get older.
Repositioning cruises. Sorry.
Oh, yes. There are ways to do this affordably. That's what he's trying to hint at. Yes, but your parents went on one. Didn't they fly back, though?
Sure. So you just have to spend the entire season across the pond and then take the repositioning cruise back. It's fine. It's whatever. It's good.
It's totally, after that lottery ticket comes in, maybe. Yeah.
I do have a sister-in-law in Scotland, so
Oh, see, this could totally work. If you ever wanted to come home from Scotland, you never know.
I probably wouldn't want to come home, but
Let's see. So we talked about the war, right? That you have a lot of war in the books. But what about so you said the sentient, so he's more like a cyborg in Legacy?
I'm not sure cyborg is the right word. He is a genetically altered human being who has had physical augmentations. So I'm not sure.
Sounds like cyborg to me. I think you're right.
I struggle with classifications, so he is what he is. He's E81, so
very fancy name. So the themes, so this book, this is a different theme, right? So it's more about individualism and destiny and stuff. So what was it about that you decided to ask that question? Was there something that sparked it? Where did that come from?
Oh, now see, that one was actually sparked by an entirely different thing. That was sparked by my husband informing me that I could not write space science fiction. It was not in my wheelhouse.
Oh, it was a challenge.
So, that was me going, really? I can do this.
You're like, oh, you dare me, do you? I'll show you. I'm going to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Florida Kevin wants to know, do you have an idea of how the book is going to end when you start? Or does that all come to you as you write?
Believe it or not, sometimes I actually have the ending before I even have the beginning. Sometimes even before I have the character names. That's actually the thing I struggle the most with is character names. Oh, the pressure of a name. And we also, of course, argue with our characters because I try to give them a name and then they don't like that name. One of my favorite books, I knew exactly where I wanted to start that book. I was held up for 3 weeks while she and I argued over a name. She finally decided she liked Lenore.
Oh, I like Lenore too. I think she was right.
I know. It works great. She really is Lenore. It's the perfect name. It just took forever for us to come to this.
That's so funny. Yeah, I'm making up a new fantasy world and I have an actual entire document where every time I see a name I really like, I write it in there. So I have this whole list of names. Yeah, I've never done that before, but yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Names. Yeah, you're not the only one. Names are definitely a problem. I mean, I don't want them to all be Paul and Mary, but I don't want to just look up, Nigerian names and use that too. It's like, no, I need something that feels more authentic for my world. So as I find a name I like, I can use those sounds and then go from there,
See, I usually just look up names like Scandinavian baby names. That one looks good.
Done.
I can pronounce that one.
Are you sure you said Scandinavian, right? Are you sure you can pronounce it?
Oh, believe me, there's a lot of like, how do you pronounce that? Which I love when you find the sites where you can go pronounce that and then it says it for you. It's like, yes, because there are some baby name sites that will pronounce it for you. It's very nice.
Oh, that does help, doesn't it? Because then also you could respell it, right? Because it's your world. You can do whatever you want. So you can spell it so that English speakers can do it. No, you don't. You don't change it.
I don't respell, remember, can't spell.
The way it is, it shall stay. I cannot change it. Yeah, it looks like the other writers in the chat are agreeing with us that we definitely have whole lists of names. My gosh, we were just talking. I lost track of my questions. That's not fair. What's up with that? We're like having fun and stuff. I don't know. Oh, here you go. If you could have one story, so you've got a lot, 56 of them now. If you could have one turned into a movie or TV series, which one would it be?
The Christmas Hitchhiker.
Ooh, what's that one about?
That one is about a disabled vet who meets a young woman who tells him that despite his disability, he still has, a homeless disabled vet who meets a young woman who tells him that despite him being disabled, he still has value.
I think that's just waiting for a Hallmark Christmas movie, no doubt.
See, I think so too.
I think it'd be right up there. So agents, if you're listening.
And that's a 5-book series.
Oh, nice.
Because she has 4 siblings who have since demanded their own books.
They're like, me too. That's fun. So are you working on anything new that you're over the moon excited about?
I wouldn't say over the moon excited, but I am enjoying the book I'm working on right now, which is Bad Blood.
What genre is that
one? It's about war.
I can't even guess. It's about war? Okay,
actually, technically, it's about the treaty that ends the war. The story actually begins with the treaty that ends the war, but, there's still bad blood.
Well, what hobbies do you enjoy to refill your creative cup? I mean, it seems overflowing, but you've got to do something to respark it. What do you do?
I watch a lot of movies and TV. That's about it.
Nice.
I'm not really talented in other ways. Like other people paint and draw. I draw deformed stick figures. So,
They don't know they're deformed. Be nice to them. I mean, come on now. Sounds like a theme of one of your books.
Way back in the day, I used to quilt and make jewelry, but nowadays that's just too much work for me. I'd rather be
really
writing.
Time consuming. Yeah, if you're writing, all day and then suddenly have to go. Yeah, that does seem like more work instead of hobby at that point. So excellent. Well, I know we talked a little bit before we started recording about D&D. So that you like D&D. Do you get to play much of that anymore?
I have not gotten to play D&D in 13 years.
What? That's just not right. Florida Kevin wants to know, what's your favorite D&D character? Like what class? Sorry, what class is your favorite?
Fighter, straight up.
You think too much during the day writing? You just want to bang things at night?
Oh, even as a kid, I wanted to play the hack and slash. I never was I can't stand spellcasters. They're too complicated for me. I just want to cut them up. That's my thing.
Stop saying fancy words. That's pretty cool. That's nice. Fighters, nice and simple. I can get that. Og wants to know, what's your favorite TV show? Since you use them to refill your cup, what's doing it right now?
Ooh, my favorite TV show right now, the one that I'm like dying for more episodes of, but I'm going to have to wait like forever, is McDonald and Dobbs. It's a BritBox show. It's a murder mystery. I love murder mysteries. That's my thing. 99% of everything I watch is murder mysteries. And of course, I'm a huge Agatha Christie and Dorothy Sayers fan. So I love the British stuff, like Death in Paradise, Midsummer Murders. Oh, Brokenwood Murder Mysteries. That one is just awesome. It's like one of my favorites.
I've never heard of that one.
Oh, they're all on BritBox and Acorn, which is through Amazon.
I'll have to look it up. I did have an entire summer where I watched like nothing but the Midsummer Murders. I don't know what it was. It was just something about it. It comforted me.
My problem with those is they're so heavy, they're not rewatches. Whereas like
Yes.
McDonald and Dobbs are rewatches. They're really funny, and so is Brokenwood Mysteries, which is actually a Kiwi. It's from New Zealand.
Ooh, that's fun. Nice to find I like hearing the different accents and trying to pretend I know where they're from, because that's as close as I can get. So nice. Now that we all want BritBox, it looks like Friday Blue already has it and adores it. Who, as a writer now, and that's what you're doing, and we know that it's said in your bio that your husband helped inspire you to actually sit down and do it, follow your dreams. But what other like writers inspired you to be a writer?
Oh, Agatha Christie and Dorothy Sayers. They're, like I said, they are my favorite writers. I love their style of writing.
Mm-hmm.
I just enjoy them. They're what I like. I don't really think I have any other authors that I would say I read them as an author.
Mm-hmm.
I know this sounds crazy, but I almost exclusively only read murder mysteries.
No, it doesn't sound. The only crazy part is, do you write any murder mysteries? I'm trying to remember if that genre was in there.
No, I don't.
That's
I do not do horror. Stephen King can have that, and I leave murder mysteries to my girls, Dorothy and Agatha.
That's hilarious. That's the interesting part. It's very cool. See, there's no rules. You do what works for you. That's the encouragement for all the people out there. Let's see. I'm just making sure I didn't miss any questions, and I think we are good right now. Let's see. I met you at Comic Conroe. That was our first convention we got to go to as a company, so it was awesome to actually get there and talk to real writers again, or writers like in person. Not real writers. I talk to real writers all the time, but in person, that was so nice. So what has been your favorite interaction with a fan?
That's a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I have one. I mean, I love talking with fans, but to like pick one out, it's like there are just so many.
Just the first one. It doesn't have to be your favorite.
One that was tough for me because I'm a big rules person. I don't know if you've ever heard of Con DFW, which is no more. It was the Fort Worth Literary Con. Okay. And my first year there, I sold this gentleman a book, and he came back our next year. And I actually broke one of my rules and asked him if he liked my book, which that's one of my rules. I never ask people if they like my books. If they say, "Oh, I read your book," I don't ask, because I feel like it puts them on the spot, and I don't want to do that.
That's fair.
And so, but I broke my rule and asked him, and he talked about the characters and how much he enjoyed it. So that was like one of my favorites, because, I broke a rule, which I never do.
And it didn't backfire this time.
It did not.
You're like, what did you think of my, wait, you don't have to be honest. Wait, never mind. Forget I asked.
See, exactly. And the whole reason I have this rule is I actually bought a book from another author once, and I gave it to my husband, and my husband couldn't get past page 26 on it because it was supposed to be historical fiction, but in the first 26 pages, they had so many things historically wrong. My husband, who's a Marine, couldn't do it because it was about Marines.
Ooh.
And it's like, and then the next time I saw them, they asked me, what did my husband think of it? And I'm like, I can't answer that. And that's when I established the rule of I didn't want to make anybody feel the way I felt about how do you answer that without hurting their feelings.
That's right. That's fair. That's actually a good rule. That's a good rule. I mean, let's face it. In the end, this is art, right? So some people are going to appreciate it. Some people are not. So That is fair. I like that. That's a good rule. Let's see. If you were forced to live in one of your worlds, which one would you choose? Ha ha ha, I found the good question I cannot answer right away.
I was gonna say there's a couple of really good ones. I think if I was gonna live in one of my fantasy worlds, I would probably choose it's not published yet, but one of my books, A Classic Fairy Tale Who Writes This Crap Anyways. Yes, that is the name of my book. I would live in that world.
Well, that sounds fun just by the title. That's awesome.
I wrote it to make fun of, the stereotypical fairy tales with the talking animals and.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds fun. Is that one still out there?
It hasn't been published yet. It's on the list. I have a publishing list, but it will get there eventually.
I see. Because I'm like, I want to read that one. I didn't see that one on Amazon. That sounds totally
No,
fun.
it's not there yet. I think we're looking at like 2025 for that one.
Ooh, you're planned way out ahead.
Yes, as soon as I finish writing a book, it goes into the publishing schedule. And some books are important enough to jump ahead of the list, and others are like at the bottom list under may never be published. So,
Well, you do have to finish series before you do a new one, right? So
exactly.
That makes
those
sense.
are the books that gets jumped to the top are the series books. So, but I have a book I wrote just to see if I could do it, and it's like at the bottom with it may never be published.
But you did it. Gosh doggone it.
I did.
Mm-hmm. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Of all of your characters, so we talked about your worlds. Now, of all your characters, which one do you relate to the most? See, we do have good, hard-hitting questions, people.
I'm not sure because they're all smarter and more successful than I am, so I'm not sure about that. Probably in a weird, warped sort of way, probably Bloodstone.
And who's that?
Bloodstone is one of the characters in the Stone universe.
Excellent. Yeah, they're not smarter than you, right? Because you write them.
Yeah, that's subject to debate because they know things that I couldn't possibly know. Like
but you wrote it.
But for example, she can speak like 5 different languages, so I only speak one, so therefore she's smarter than I am.
Well, she's just a linguist. You're not a linguist. That's all. Didn't we talk earlier about how with our children we have to tell them that everyone just has different skills, right? Doesn't make them better or worse than anyone else. Look at that. Now this is us having to take our own advice.
I know. We're not good at that.
We're not. No, I don't think most people are. So Bloodstone, why Bloodstone? Is he, she, they, she? Okay.
It's a she. Mm-hmm. She has a lot of issues and problems that she has to overcome. So
you relate to her struggle?
Yeah, I relate to her struggle, and there are. See, I'm also trying not to give any spoilers here.
Oh, that is the hard part.
Yeah, but she has some struggles, and I can kind of understand that and relate to her struggles. So, but according to one of my best friends, she can read any of my books and go, "That's a Diane line. That's a Diane line." According to her, she can see me in all of the characters because she knows my quirky personality. So,
which, let's face it, that's probably more true anyways, right? But that's one of those things an outsider will recognize. Yeah, makes total sense to me. For the record, I'm still thinking about the fairy tale book. I really want that book now. What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Probably anything coffee related. Usually, well, like if we actually want to talk about my favorite flavor ever, it's not made anymore. And that was espresso and cream, which used to be made by Baskin-Robbins, but they discontinued it.
That sounds quite nicely balanced with the coffee and the sweet cream.
It was, and it was a frozen yogurt. It was just wonderful, but they don't make it anymore. But usually coffee flavored.
Excellent. What part of your daily routine is an absolute must? Can't do without it.
And I'm kind of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl. I don't really have a brush my teeth. Actually, wait, yes, brush my teeth.
Well, that's a good answer. It's a good answer.
I don't even talk to people until I've brushed my teeth. I crawl out of bed and brush my teeth. And people know if they start talking to me and I haven't brushed my teeth, they're going to get growled at.
It's not coffee for you. It's like, I must brush my teeth, go away. That's awesome. I mean, of all the habits to have, that's a good one. I'm afraid I wouldn't have such a healthy answer, I'm sure. What is your potluck go-to? I mean, we're going to have events again. We're going to have to start bringing dishes.
Ooh, a potluck go-to. Probably my hot bean dip is my favorite.
Ooh, that sounds good. What's in it?
It is. It's really good. It's 8 ounces cream cheese. I think it's 8 ounces sour cream, 2 cans of refried beans, 1 packet of taco seasoning, and you put 2 cups of cheese on top and melt it in the oven. So it's nice and bubbly hot. It's really good.
That almost
the sour
sounds like
cream is the only thing I'm questioning, but I think it is 1 cup sour cream, 8 ounces cream cheese.
That can make sense.
I haven't made it in a couple of years, but
yeah. Usually they're blended. I'm surprised you came up with the recipe. Good for you. I was looking for general stuff, but now I can make it.
I was a short order cook, so
you're like,
I
I've got
know
it, man.
a lot of recipes off the top of my head.
It's awesome. Coffee or tea?
Oh, tea, 100%. I really don't drink coffee. I love tea. I actually have taken over 3 kitchen cabinet shelves with all my teas.
That's incredible. I totally would have guessed coffee after your ice cream choice. That's
no,
cool.
I actually don't drink coffee.
You just eat
it's
ice
all
cream.
about the tea. Mm-hmm.
I love it. Cats or dogs?
I actually don't like pets.
No pets. No pets at all. Nothing. No bird. No lizard you watch in the garden outside.
Nope.
No.
I always tell people my pets are my kids.
Oh. They were easier to housebreak, I'm sure.
Well, it's even funnier because one is Year of the horse, one is Year of the dog, and one is Year of the rabbit. So see, I have pets.
I love it. Awesome. Well, you were a lot of fun today. I hope you had some fun.
Oh, yes, it was quite entertaining.
Right? It's not so bad. I knew you were terrified to come on. It wasn't so frightening. See? We don't bite. We're here for fun. Even though I did ask you some good questions. Ha ha ha. I was like, no, she's answering them too quickly. I must challenge. And it worked. Ha ha ha. So, final question is, where can fans find you and your work?
Well, of course, my books are available on Amazon and Kindle. And of course, I have a website, which let's see if I can do this correctly. It is sirbloodstone.wix.com/Diane Lindmark author.
Excellent, excellent. So now that Diane is your new favorite author, make sure to review her books and please review us wherever it is you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitch or subscribe to us on YouTube. And we do want to thank our very special subscribers this month for helping us keep the lights on around here on Twitch. And it is DH Dunn and Random Chance 1.